Welcome to Airborne for Monday from AirVenture 2015. I'm Bree Cross. Coming up on today's program, Redbird introduces the Sidekick, an innovative tool for pilots, flight instructors, and anyone who flies. Garmin updates the GTN 650 and 750. And Jack Pelton says EAA AirVenture 2015 is off to a great start. EAA Chairman Jack Pelton says that AirVenture 2015 is off to a great start. From the airplane movements to the attendance, numbers are on the rise.
Things have settled in, and right now we're experiencing a record number of airplanes that are flying in. We were over the last couple days about 1,000 airplane movements for arrivals over what we've seen the last 2 years. We've seen camping that's been up about 13% over the last few years, and gate attendance also up about 7% over the last couple years. So I would say we're off to certainly a roaring start.
Redbird has become known as one of the most innovative companies in the industry, and this week at AirVenture, they're rolling out a new idea they call the Sidekick. ANN's Tom Patton stopped by to speak with Redbird founder Jerry Gregoire about what Sidekick is and what it does.
Jerry Gregoire with Redbird. You're a company that's known for innovation, and this latest thing that you're announcing here at Oshkosh is something that I think is going to be really important in a lot of different venues, and it's called Sidekick. Explain that to us.
Well, Sidekick is our latest version of high wire act with no net as we come to Oshkosh. We realized that you can't manage what you can't measure. And in the case of all of these systems, particularly with the simulators and the other things we do, measuring performance is a key part to making the process better, making the training better, and making the student better. The problem with measuring performance and measuring what's happening in an airplane is the modern avionics set have the ability to measure what's going on in the airplane, but no automated way to get the data off. And the fact of the matter is 80% of the fleets that are out there don't have that kind of capability. We had to come up with some technology that allowed us to measure all of the things going on in the airplane without making any connections to the airplane and automatically offloading the data without the pilot or the student getting involved. This is a very strange piece of equipment. It does some very remarkable things that you wouldn't think a device that's not connected to anything could do. For instance, it knows who's flying the airplane. It knows what airplane it's in. It knows when you've turned on the master switch, what the RPMs are, when you started the engine, when you've left the ground, what maneuvers you flew along the way, how many landings you made and where and how hard were the landings. And all of this is done with the sensors that are inside the box. And the box doesn't even need power. It carries its own power along. It's not the coolest thing in aviation, but it's the coolest thing in flight training.
Icon made a presentation of their first production A5 on Monday to a customer, and that customer turned out to be EAA's Young Eagles. The keys to the airplane were handed to Young Eagles chairman Sean D. Tucker in an event at AirVenture Monday morning. Tucker accepted the aircraft on behalf of the organization alongside EAA chairman Jack Pelton. The aircraft will participate in Young Eagles flights that allow young people to experience aviation, often for the first time, to give them exposure to and inspire their interest in flying. Icon says they are currently ramping up the much-delayed A5 production at their new facility in Vacaville, California. Hartzell made a major announcement today with Piper, saying that their 5-blade composite propeller will be available for Piper M500 turboprops.
So I think what the pilot's going to experience is, first off, a different and more pleasant noise. It's going to sound more jet-like because the frequency change of the extra blade really brings the jet noise up and lowers the prop blade noise. It's going to be very, very smooth. One of the things that we've seen with 5-bladed props too is you can push the power into that extra blade. So when you're standing on the brakes and you're going to load it up with power, it spools up quickly. It takes that energy and turns it into forward thrust right away. So I think they're going to like that. The prop is designed for takeoff and climb performance. We think cruise is going to be excellent, but we think they're going to feel that tractor pull. They're going to feel it in the seat of their pants. The Piper guys, we think, are really going to like it.
After the break, Garmin updates the GTN 650 and 750. This is Airborne coming to you from AirVenture 2015.
Now certified, Aspen Avionics single-band ADS-B, ATX100, and ATX100G transceivers are the next-gen ADS-B solution that provides the features pilots need while keeping flyaway costs low. Check it out now at aspenavionics.com.
We've had our Cub for just about a year and love it. I call myself the fleet manager. We have a Citation, a 58 Baron, and the Carbon Cub. They're all different, but I would absolutely say the Cub is the most fun to fly.
I use it to commute to my office, every day. It's a great way to start the day. I can't wait to have the day end and be able to fly it home. It's just fantastic.
It's really changed our lives in that Dave's commute used to be an hour on a really busy freeway, and now within 15 minutes he's home with a smile on his face, not after an hour of sitting in traffic.
And we're really fortunate to be able to use it the way it was designed and built to be used. Our strip here at the ranch is just under 700 feet. It's not the smoothest in the world. It's uphill. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. It's in a canyon, so it's a challenge to get in and out, but the Cub does it without any issues at all. Everything about it is above what we'd ever thought it could be.
Welcome back to Airborne, coming to you from AirVenture 2015 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. If you're in Oshkosh and you've seen anything that we need to see, just email to news-spy@aero-news.net. A couple of opening events took place Monday as the show officially got underway. At the new Aviation Gateway Park, a UAV was supposed to have brought in the ceremonial scissors for a ribbon cutting, opening the new area to the public, but the wind did not allow that to happen, so they came in a more normal way, carried in a bucket. Piper's CEO, Simon Caldecott, said there was a specific reason Piper wanted to sponsor the park.
I have a big passion about general aviation. I'm over 40 years in this business, and it really is interesting, and the thing that we need to do is to encourage the next generations to come along and get involved in aviation. And having something like the Aviation Gateway Park will do exactly that. We want you young folks to benefit from this in the future.
And a dedication ceremony took place, opening up the new Vintage Plaza next to the Red Barn in the Vintage area. Funding the plaza was provided by Mert Rose in memory of her husband Bill to provide a special place for vintage pilots to showcase their airplanes. There is always a lot of avionics news at AirVenture, and this year is no exception. A few days before the show, Garmin introduced several new features for its GTN 650 and 750 products. Garmin's Jim Alpizer gave us an overview of what's new in this latest release.
I tell you what, we continue to make improvements. This is our sixth major software release of improvements for the GTN 650 and 750, and we've added a whole host of new features and capabilities. Probably most importantly, one of my personal favorites is animated Nextrads, and so with the animated Nextrad capability, it's going to actually save about 5 or 6 of the most recent frames of data link weather that you're collecting as you fly along, and be able to actually play those back so you can put the weather into motion and actually see, is the storm growing? Is it dissipating? Is it moving in my direction, or is it moving out of my direction? Another enhancement that we've made on the GTN is the ability to fly customized holding patterns. And with the new software that we've added into that, you can pick a point anywhere, an intersection, a VOR, or a user waypoint, and be able to define a holding pattern based on its location, the direction, the radial that you want to fly, the distance, the time, the leg, and be able to kind of go into that hold as ATC asks you. So I know it's not a very often circumstance, but now anytime you get that, a circumstance is going to be a lot lower stress because you can just program it on the GTN.
L3 Avionics Systems introduced their Genesys next generation of electronic standby instrument systems Monday here at AirVenture. The instrument is a solid-state standby instrument for the Part 23 Class 1, 2, and 3 aircraft along with helicopters. L3 Avionics Vice President of Business Development Larry Riddle said the instrument builds on the company's 50 years of experience in standby instruments.
The Genesys is really built again on the legacy that L3 has enjoyed over the last decades with standby, and then with our building off our GH series, which has been out for almost 20 years, and then the trilogy. So the Genesys 500 was a natural fit to address this market, and now we have the full spectrum covered all the way from the Part 23 piston all the way up to your heavier iron, which is addressed by our GH series.
Bendix King also introduced a solid-state backup instrument Monday afternoon. The KI-300 is intended as a replacement for the KI-256 and KG-258 attitude indicators. ANN Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell talked with Bendix King President Justin Ryan about the new instrument.
Tell me about the KI-300 solid-state electronic attitude indicator.
Great. We are excited to announce this new product. We listened to our customers. There's quite a few Bendix King customers flying the autopilots that Bendix King has made over the years. And we heard that those pilots really wanted a better attitude indicator than the KI-256. As reliable as that was, it was still something that they were constantly having to repair. And we knew the vacuum systems in the aircraft themselves are not very reliable. Even the vacuum pump systems weren't very reliable. So we heard what they said, and we put this product into development. It's a fully electronic, solid-state, MEMS-driven gyro. It's got a full battery backup, so you can put it in as a primary instrument with no other additional backups, and you can replace your 256 with this instrument. The good news is, on safety benefit alone, the MTBF on this product is about 16,000 hours, we estimate. Well, that's going to be life of the aircraft for most air owners, and probably 10 times the reliability they're seeing on their vacuum system and their 256s. So we think it's going to be a terrific product for us, and we're expecting to launch this be able to sell it to the public at the end of the year.
After these messages, we'll have part 1 of our conversation with EAA Chairman Jack Pelton, and that's coming up next on Airborne, coming to you from AirVenture 2015.
We are the Aero-News Network, with over 250,000 stories, 7,000 Aero podcasts, 2,500 Aero-TV programs, 500 episodes of Airborne, and so much more. It's a record of performance unequaled in the Aeroverse, and there's far more to come. Aero-News, committed to innovate, inform, inspire, and disrupt the aviation world.
Trigg's TT22 transponder is the perfect ADS-B out solution for small spaces. It's lightweight, highly compact, and 2020 compliant. Make the most of your panel space by contacting your approved Trigg dealer today. www.triggavionics.com.
The KSN 770 is an affordable, WAS-enabled integrated MFD with a flexible hybrid user interface from Bendix King. Get your fingers on the 770's perfect blend of touchscreen and hard buttons. Easily control your GPS navigation, Navcom, weather, traffic, and terrain in any condition. For more information, go to BendixKing.com.
Stratus 2S is the ultimate iPad upgrade. This simple-to-use pocket-sized receiver delivers subscription-free weather, ADS-B traffic, WAS, GPS, and backup attitude, and everything is beautifully displayed in ForeFlight Mobile. For more information, visit sporties.com/stratus.
Welcome back to Airborne, coming to you from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and AirVenture 2015. Before the start of AirVenture, ANN CEO Jim Campbell sat down with EAA Chairman Jack Pelton for an in-depth discussion of the industry and the organization. We'll be bringing you a portion of that interview each day from Oshkosh. Today we get an overview of some of the highlights of the show from EAA's chairman.
Obvious question right off the bat is, what are you looking forward to for Oshkosh AirVenture 2015 this year?
Well, this year, I hope we have some time because the list is really long as
Go for it.
to what 15 looks like. You know, last year we did the military jet demonstration team, the Thunderbirds, and I think people thought that was going to set a recurring standard, and it's so hard to do that, to get the aerobatic box and move people out. And we said, you know, let's go back and look at what variety we can bring as far as displays, forms, features, and things that we can have on site. And I think we've really knocked it out of the park this year. It starts with the Apollo 13 crew celebrating their 45th anniversary of that mission. And it goes through a lineup of a different theme every day. The 40th anniversary of the Canard I put as the next significant highlight, especially for EA and for our members, with Burt Rutan coming back to talk about the history of scaled composites and some of the new projects that he's working on. He's publicly talked about a new airplane called the Ski-Gull, and we're all excited to see what he's going to tell us about that project. Military's back. We went through sequestration last year and just now walked off the plaza watching a B-52 arrive. 2 F-35s, 2 F-22s, of which the F-22 will be in the show. Airbus is bringing an A350. The new Goodyear airship, even though it's made in Germany and is a Zeppelin, is going to be here. And then each day there'll be different celebrations. The 70th anniversary of the Pitts, of which over 70 Pitts will be here. The 75th of the Air Coupe, of which we have close to 100 Air Coupes that are coming, which Sean Elliott at EA would tell you that's 200 verticals that will be here. And so it's a lot of airplanes. The Battle of Britain theme with the only flying Mosquito will be in our air show. This to me is what makes EA so special. We wanted to get a Spitfire here, and unbeknownst to us, there is an individual who has home built a scale Spitfire Mark 9, and he will be bringing that here and staying all week and camping. And we're going to park it in the home build area because it is a home build. So it's just a very, very strong lineup of great airplanes, great displays, some interesting speakers and forums, and something literally for everybody and only in Oshkosh.
Well, we had the great good pleasure of working with you this year to put together the AirVenture Innovation Preview. But the main reason, and this is something we'll be doing in greater numbers in the future, but we felt that this really had to start here because Oshkosh, for most of the aviation world, is the focal point of all the really cool stuff. The folks, the disruptors, because change is one thing, but a good change has to be really disruptive. It's got to change everything around it, and so much of that shows up here. How is EAA at this point pushing the experimental, the GA, the sport aviation community, and the other communities you influence into a more disruptive and innovative future?
We're doing a couple things that we're going to announce this week also. One is an Innovator's Prize, which is a $25,000 award for somebody to come up with a device or features and safety enhancements for loss of control. We know that's the #1 issue on the safety concern in general aviation. And so we're going to start really trying to encourage innovation beyond the grassroots level. It's always here every year, is to get people doing this kind of disruptive technology and see what comes out of AirVenture this year, see what comes out of it next year. You know, as you say, every year you walk the grounds and you'll find somebody is really trying to create a breakthrough, and we have to promote more of that and promote more people doing it. Because if we don't, we're all going to be flying stodgy old spam cans that are inefficient and aren't attractive for the next generation of people in aviation.
Tomorrow, Jack and Jim discuss the FAA's progress or lack of progress on the third-class medical and other issues. One other item of note, because there are things going on beyond AirVenture, a little company called Lockheed Martin announced Monday that they were planning to buy another little company called Sikorsky. The initial agreement was for about $9 billion, but is effectively reduced to approximately $7.1 billion after taking into account tax benefits resulting from the transaction. And by the way, not only did our much anticipated AirVenture Innovation Preview launch last Saturday, but we actually beat our deadline. Access the massive 2-hour AirVenture Innovation Preview at oshcast.net or airbornetv.net. Well, that's our program for today. We'll be back tomorrow with all the events going on at AirVenture 2015 at Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I'm Bree Cross. Thanks for watching.